kind of the original recordings, made to be in almost surround. And now they reissue them in 5.1. So I'll be talking a little bit about that in the lecture as well. There are different approaches to 5.1.
What does 5.1 mean?
5.1 means 5 channels and 1 LFE channel. Don't mix that up with the subwoofer, the LFE. A lot of people always say the 0.1 is the subwoofer, which isn't true because the subwoofer is a speaker and the channel is actually a channel in the format. For example, all the consumer stuff, a 2.1 soundbar is complete nonsense because there's no such format as 2.1. What they're selling you at Best Buy is basically a soundbar with a subwoofer, 2 channels and a subwoofer, which is taking over for the at a frequency range where those small speakers can't handle these frequencies. So 2.1, even though they sell it to you, doesn't exist technically. It's basically 5 and 1 LFE channel, 5.1. Most of the time that is routed to the subwoofer, but the subwoofer is the speaker and not the channel. And I'll be talking about the speaker configuration in the lecture today. No, this actually, that's the surround project. And in classical music, most of the time you have the orchestra in front of you still and all the reflections around you, sitting in the same hall. Sometimes you do a little more experimental stuff. I'm going to show 2 different recordings to you, just to give you an impression of things, basically of 2 different approaches. And then I brought, if we have time, I brought one Pink Floyd SACD, The Dark Side of the Moon, they remastered. And does anyone know the BT, electronic guy from LA? He did a surround production for DTS a while ago. And that is pretty nice. Electronic moving sounds around you, surround stuff. But let's start with these 2. Actually, if you come a little closer, I can show you the surround panning of the console. So the standard configuration is left, right, center, LFE, left, surround, right, surround. That's the ITU recommendation. Sometimes you find the film stuff, which is left, center, right, that one, and LFE or something like that. We basically pretty much follow the standard left, right, center, LFE, left, surround, right, surround.
LFE, low frequency something?
Yeah, low frequency effects, or sometimes also low frequency enhancement. So in music, I try to keep it as a low frequency effects because you don't have to use it that often. It's more for effects, for constantly. And you see on the console, you have for the panning, you actually have 4 different knobs. You have one for LFE. This is how much you send to the LFE channel. You've got the normal one for left and right. That's for left and right. Then you have for front and rear, basically moving it in that plane, and then you have left LR and LCR. Anyone have any idea what that might be? No. LR or LCR? No. Okay, that is basically means because in the front now we have that extra center speaker, and we could technically have a sound source in the center from a phantom sound source of left and right. Or we could have a sound source in the center from only coming from the center. And this now basically tells you how much of the center you use in your panning. So if you have it all the way and you pan something over like in between center and left, and you have it all the way to LCR, it will basically only be coming out of these 2 speakers and create a phantom sound source there. If it's all the way on LR, you place a phantom sound source there, it's basically creating a phantom sound source there in between those 2 speakers, and the center is not playing anything. So that is the LR LCR. Actually, I can show you that. Sample frequency. So let's just take this one. Oh, we should probably have to turn these back speakers on actually. And those, well, they're in the back on there.
Which one are they?
Those amps.
Over here?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm blind.
I don't know where the switch is.
That's radio.
Ballingschap
I don't know where it is.
van een orkestwerk samengesteld.
Can't see the. I don't know where it is.
Oh, they're like the logos.
Yeah.
Those, yeah.
Oh,
They're little.
Both of them?
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
They worked.
the button.
Van opbrengen leek de componist voor zijn interludes af van de chronologie.
Alright, let's move this guy around.
Van John Adams.
That
En
radio
voor de
guy.
pauze de Nederlandse première van Magnus Lindbergs vioolconcert. Met Lisa Batiashvili
So I
als
put them all the way
soliste.
to the front, to the
Om te
center.
beginnen het in opdracht van het Koninklijk Concertgebouw
Only put it on left, right.
Orkest
You see, we hear
gecomponeerde
it nice
Adam
from the middle.
interludes.
There's probably
Rob
people
Zuidam.
standing on that side.
Deze compositie, die
from
in
that
juni
right speaker,
2008 door het orkest en
But if I
Doppelt
put that all the way to
van Nico
LCR,
Metzmacher, komt in de
put it
plaats
right in
van
the
een
center,
eerder
no
aangekondigd
matter where you
werk
sit,
van
you
Maaike
don't play
Nas,
from the center because you're
dat
not
de
using
componiste
phantom
niet
consoles
op
anymore.
tijd naar haar hoge maatstaven heeft kunnen voltooien.
That's what
De
this
première
now
van dat
does.
werk zal derhalve op een ander moment plaatsvinden. Rob Zuidam had uit de instrumentale tussenspeler van zijn opera Adam in Ballingschap, al een orkestwerk samengesteld, voordat de opera tijdens het Holland Festival van
That is much
2009
softer.
in première ging.
Calibrate this.
Die opera, gebaseerd op het gelijknallige toneelstuk van Jos van der Vondel, gaat volgens Zuidam over de geboorte van het menselijk bewustzijn.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, listen to this. Alright. So I'm going to have one of you pan this to left, center, right. LFE is empty. In a lot of music production, you don't use the LFE at all, especially classical music. There's not a low frequency effects. So these are actually old recordings we broadcasted at the radio station I used to work at. So we left the LFE empty. But we still had to import it for the broadcasting software as basically an empty file, and that's what you see for LFE on here. There's nothing on there, just blank audio file. But it depends on the software. Sometimes you don't have to do that. Yeah, so these are where the actually I should briefly talk about surround panning. Or surround. You activate. Did we talk about channel selection on here briefly? We didn't? Oh.
If we did, then it's lost.
Okay, then it was very in the beginning of the semester. I don't think I did because we went right down the recital in the beginning. So anything you do to the channels, you first have to select the channel, which is this little select button here. And you see it's turning green, and then you can do whatever you want to that channel. So if you want to select the next one, if you want to deselect one, you just hit it again. And you see, as soon as I hit select, all this comes on. And here are all the settings for that one channel. And this is where you turn on phantom power and all of these things. Everything that has to do with routing to main buses, you could almost treat it as like output buses in Pro Tools. Now we're all analog. Yeah, we have three mix buses, mix A, mix B, and mix C. And they basically go, mix A goes to left, right, mix B goes to center and LFE, and mix C goes to left surround and right surround. You can change that a little bit. You could have them all go to left and right if you only mix in stereo and you need three mixes. But for 5.1 panning, that's important to remember that you have to activate all three mix buses in order to be able to route the signal to 6 channels.
Where do they go again?
Mix A is left right, mix B is left surround, mix B is center and LFE, and mix C is left surround, right surround. So again, that ITU standard.
Mix B
V is center and LFE, and mix C is left surround and right surround. And yeah, it's always really important to remember the order of things happening also in Pro Tools, because if you have one plugin or a bus in surround going to a different standard, you basically mix up your channels. The more channels you work, the easier it is to get confused if you use two different standards and mess up channels. Does that make sense to everyone, the panning? Okay. So the channel select. I selected channel 25, and just as I said, in order to pan that wherever we need it, we need to activate 3 mix buses, which is here. We have mix A, mix B, mix B and C on the channel. Now it's not going anywhere. If I send it to mix A, mix B, and mix C, then I send it to all of them. And then you also have to activate 5.1 pen by hitting 5.1 pen. Then this comes on, otherwise you keep working in stereo. And then you can move that around wherever you want to have that. If you want to do the same thing to a range of channels, you hit select, you hit 2, and then you hit the last one. You see that I selected 6 of them, and then you can do whatever you do to all of them. You see I'm doing to all channels at the same time. If you want to do it to all channels, you hit select, like, oh yeah, activating the is plus or minus, or just one of these. You can hit select all. See, I selected all, so if I now put them all on surround, they all don't surround. Which most of the time I just end up doing anyway because it's a quicker thing. Yeah, activate 5.1 pen for all of them, and oh yeah, and the master fader is signed the master fader because normally master fader is just controlling mix A, mix B, or mix C. For example, now it's controlling mix A. We're going to talk about this in detail in 4630 for those of you who take it. If I want to control all of them, I hit 5.1 mix and master fader, or fader at the same time. And you see that this one's controlling all three mixes, so it holds around mix. Any questions? I know this is kind of, but once you do it, it's just it just becomes very normal once you start working here. But I'll let you do the panning. So this one has to go left, this one has to go right, this one has to go to the center, this one doesn't have to go anywhere. This one's going left to round, and this one's going right to round. Who wants to start with the first channel?
Me, I'll do it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so we press this button.
Yeah, you don't have to press the button for anything you do on here. Because this is just reacting automatically, so the pan is reacting automatically. Just the routing and everything has to hit the button. So you don't have to select the channel.
Oh, okay. Unselected.
Yeah, you can leave it selected. It's
totally
up to you, whatever you prefer.
I think I'll leave it selected. And then what am I doing right now?
That first one has to go all the way to the left.
Oh.
This one?
Left
this
front.
one?
Like that whole channel, so.
Well, why don't we just turn everything to the left? I can't be wrong then, right?
Well, actually that's good.
Excellent. Next.
Okay, the second one has to go to that speaker there. Who wants to do that one?
Made it. It's close.
I don't know.
They're on each different channel. I thought you were just going between those 4 different knobs on that one deal. I thought you were just going on these 4. It's on each one that has to switch. Oh, I guess so.
Like right now, like what's happening, like we have 60 discrete channels for listening in Pro Tools, left, right, center, and we have to route these individually to each speaker.
Oh, okay.
So all you do is you keep the LFE off, and then you put everything to the right then, right?
Yeah. This goes like that. No LFE. Technically, this one doesn't matter now, the LR, LCR, because we hard pan it anyway, so it doesn't matter if we create a not a phantom source between center LFE or not a phantom source between that one and LFE. So this one doesn't really matter. And this one's now to the rear. That is front rear, so you want to have that all the way to to the front. Exactly. Alright, and who wants to do the next one? The center.
It's in the center, isn't it? Unless it's that one. Whoops.
It is in the center, right?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's not in the center speaker yet.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Keela, what are all these that you plug in every day?
Oh, that's just patching in the CD player into the console.
Is it straightforward or is it all the way to the right?
You want to have it only coming from the center.
So this one?
Exactly. Because if you have it halfway, it'll be half from the center and half the phantom.
Oh, really?
Phantom goes between left and right. That one has to be all the way up. That looks good. And that one we skip. And 29 has to go to that speaker over there. Who wants to do that?
Which one?
That one.
On here. So rear. Left. Something like that.
Left, yeah, that's good. And the next one has to go over there.
Which one are you in the back right corner?
Yeah,
one?
back right.
What did you do?
Left. Left arm. I have no idea.
You just did 29?
You leave that
Yeah.
one. all
30,
the way
yeah, we have to do
back, you turn
30.
the
30?
LFE off, and then you go.
So basically find
So
the knob
30's
which
like-
is going left and right, all the way to the right, and then you find the knob which is
Uh,
going front and rear, and put it all the way to the rear.
I don't know.
Turn that to the rear.
I think I get it.
This one? Oh, this is the
So
rear. Oh, that's
Marilyn,
rear.
Like front, rear,
Are there
okay.
car stereos that are
Turn
like
that
5.1?
FE, and then this
You
is
do have
Oh, that's
there
the
are
one.
systems for cars, and the conference
Okay.
is
So
there
this
with the
actually-
and
What does this go to? That doesn't matter?
stuff like
That can be anything?
Yeah.
Actually, the 9.1 proposal with height speakers, they also propose that for cars.
Is that right?
It's kind of crazy, actually.
I never leave my car.
If you have the best system, audio system in your car, then who wants to leave the car anyway? So that one, yeah, that's rear, right? So this is how you would do the panning. I let you do this one now. It's kind of a little detour because we could also patch in directly from the computer into the speakers. Basically through what I do with the CD player. But then you don't see how the panning is working, and that's why I did it this way. Okay. Actually, I'm going to show you one other thing. I'm going to let you turn around that Dutch presenter.
Should I get a picture of that or something?
Oh, whole faster. Don't even bother with that piece of crap phone.
Oh, this is good quality.
Do you?
Nice thing is you can understand what he's saying. You actually listen to the sound. They do love listening to this like foreign language no one understands. And you focus on the sound. Like he's not my favorite voice. Anyway, do you have that on tape?
Oh, no.
We're gonna post
Oh,
this
okay.
and get hundreds of thousands of views, lots of reviews on
Maybe
it.
that'll get your channel to 1 million views, Trav.
So there's one thing about surround, or one downside to surround is the localization, like panning localization. If you level pan on the sides, it's not that precise. And I want each of you to experience that. If you
In de grote zaal van het
start over there and you start panning it to the back,
Het Concertgebouworkest onder leiding van Marco
at a
Stennis.
certain point,
Op vrijdag 22 januari jongstleden.
it's kind of okay. If you go too far,
Vanmiddag de surround-opname laten horen. Uitgevoerd werd het toen na de pauze.
then there's
en
like a
niet eerder
huge,
van John
like it
Adams.
jumps really
Voor de
quickly.
pauze.
I'm just gonna have one of you sit in the sweet spot and just pen, I think it's Peter's name, Peter's voice from there to the back. And then you'll see that up until here, it's kind of stable. And then if you pan a little further, it is very ambiguous where the signal's coming from. And that has to do with the way our ears are attached to us. Like panning, there's not enough information difference in both the ears in order to perceive a phantom image there. So why don't you sit down, Jake, and observe that from and surround.
I will observe that, yep.
De Nederlandse première van Magnus Lindbergs vioolconcert met Lisa Battiasvili als soliste. En om te beginnen het in opdracht van het Koninklijk Concertgebouworkest gecomponeerde Adam Interludes van Rob Zuidam. Deze compositie, die in juni 2008 door het Orkest en Dop werd gehouden onder leiding van Ingo Metzmacher, komt in de plaats van een eerder aangekondigd nieuw werk van Maaike Nas, dat de componiste niet op tijd naar haar hoge maatstaven heeft kunnen voltooien. De première van dat werk
Isn't that
zal
weird?
derhalve...
Yeah, so if you try to place it here, it's almost not working.
It doesn't place, it jumps.
Anyone else wants to try that out? It's actually worth hearing, I guess. Because that's one of the things, but where you walk in surround, you have to be aware
Where
of
is
that.
this, Jay, that you're moving? Which one are you moving?
It's that one.
This,
Yep.
this one?
Yep.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, just the front rear, so you had it from
Okay.
to the back, and then sometimes you.
You want me to hold your video?
Yeah, sure. What?
op een ander moment plaatsvinden.
It's the Jeff in his
Op
natural
Zaandam
habitat.
had de instrumentale tussenspeler van zijn opera Adam in ballingschap al een orkestwerk samengesteld voordat de opera tijdens het Holland Festival van
So if you put it
2009,
all the way to the front and start moving it back at some
de
point.
opera,
Keeps
gebaseerd op het gelijknamige toneelstuk van Jos van den Vondel, gaat volgens Zaandam over de geboorte van het menselijk bewustzijn. Om muzikale eenheid en een structuur tot stand te brengen, weekt de componist voor zijn interludes af van de chronologische volgorde in zijn opera. Zo klinken de luide beginakkoorden van het eerste deel in de opera aan het eind en zijn de melodieën van het daaropvolgende blazerskoraal afkomstig van het begin van de
Kind
opera.
of jump, eh?
Deel 2 is gebaseerd op een duet van Adam en Eva, waarin ze het moment beschrijven dat ze voor het eerst hun schepper aanschouwen. De muziek reflecteert de gemoedstoestanden van de personages. En in het derde deel klinken verwijzingen naar Olivier Messiaen. De interludes maakten bij de première namelijk deel uit.
So that's it's kind of hard to place stable sound sources here on the sides. It doesn't matter as long as you're aware of it. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. There might be some, if you actually give more information to the brain and place something on that side. But just with panic and the wall.
Having another speaker in the middle that you can just sort of...
Yeah, that's why 7.1 they use at some point, basically moving those to the back and so on. Because you can localize sounds from there, just not phantom sound sources. But for music stuff, where you have, for like traditional music, jazz stuff, acoustic music, or classical music, where you have the ensemble in the front, it doesn't matter because the reflection they come from all around us, so we can use these surround speakers to really place the audience in the hall, and we can also use that range up until here to actually widen the orchestra if you want. Okay, and just make sure that we have enough time for to listen to your introduction as well. Right, so it's kind of hard, so you probably just take this chair away. Actually, let's have you sit kind of closer to the front, because now we also have to make sure that you're not sitting all the way in the back, because we have rear speakers too. So actually one of you can sit here as well.
Oh, I'll sit in the boss's chair.
And then Jeff, you can sit here. We're going to change around a little bit. But anyway, so I'll actually recalibrate it. That was a piece for 4 string quartets. By I think that's composer from Blaine. Where did you hear the sound from? Yeah, you're sitting in the back. What Jake?
Over here.
Yeah.
Everywhere but over there.
Yeah.
For me, anyways, it's kind of like there.
So the way this one was done was 4 string quartets, so they had one there, one there, one there, one there.
These guys just didn't have a very big fight.
Yeah, those guys kind of like got drunk last night. So I mean, this one is like was a more daring production. This actually, I remember this colleague of mine presented this at like a radio internal conference to present some stuff, and he got a lot of really bad critiques because a lot of people thought it was like aesthetical, not responsible to do that. Especially because the production was, like the concert was on the stage, so one string quartet there, one there, one there, one there, and he close mic'd everything and put it around the audience, basically just to try out how it works. Which I kind of find interesting to play around like that, especially in a piece for 4 string quartet. It's kind of, why not do this? Though a lot of the older classic producers were like, you can't do this. And I'm basically showing you these just to show you the different approaches to 5.1, not just around mixing. And I hope that we kind of get to listen to... Yeah, but things like...
We'll get hold of them today.
Let's listen to some John Adams. You like John Adams, don't you?
Yep.
And this is like the more classical approach, where you have the direct sound coming from the front and your reflections all around you. And then actually we're going to change in a while so that you can...
This is the last idea. Ik invite je al de speakers van
Thank
No, where's the advantages? I'll be talking a little bit about that in the lectures as well. Maybe just describe what you hear and what sounds more realistic or something like that.
It's a lot easier to hear the space in 5.1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's how it's used, right? Like as you feel more enveloped than just if the sound's just coming from the front, everything, reflections and everything is kind of there and it stays there. You look through a window into a room where an orchestra is playing or something like that. While with 5.1 or surround stuff, you can actually sit in the same room and say, oh, this is almost it's in a concert hall. Do you want to sit in the front as well, Hope, or something? That you're not only getting reflections from the back, left surround speaker there. And then we're going to listen to the English production. Kind of like on minimal music, the first 10 minutes suck and all of a sudden it's nice. So you would have, if you were just on the point where it started becoming nice. Did you hear the difference, Home? Anything else besides the space? Talking about the different parameters that you think improve with,
Seems like there's a little bit more bass or something to it. I don't know.
yeah, it could also. No, it's probably just the.
Get heavier.
It should be too.
It's like
maybe you can hear it better.
a little bit heavier sound, I guess.
So then, would they have mic'd it like they would have done, like mic'd the orchestra like regular or whatever system they decided to use, and then just placed other mics at certain points in the room?
Yeah, actually, they this one, like, we always recorded both. We recorded them with the main system, 5.1 main system, and with the stereo main system, so we didn't have to work with down mixes. So
Okay, so there's a different bunch of systems for 5.1.
Yeah,
that
like
you
I'll
use?
be talking about all of these in lecture today. So
Oh,
we recorded
glorious.
5.1 instead of just working with 2 microphones as the main system. You start working with 5 microphones or more.
Okay.
Like what I'm trying to get from you is the transparency. That you actually, it's way easier to listen to the whole orchestra and surround than in stereo because it's all coming from here. All this spatial and everything is just, for some reason, as soon as I open up surround, like all of a sudden I go, oh yeah, I hear all different individual parts of the orchestra. That's another advantage. Just now, it seems to be more transparent. But no, any start. I just wanted to start showing you things because I'll be talking about that today, so that you can have an idea of what the surround sounds like. Now, we'll be doing some more listening. There's some really cool stuff. I hope we have some time at the end of the semester to see taking on this.
So can you buy headphones that are like true surround sound headphones?
No, there are. Biodynamics has a system
You showed that thing that you showed. Yeah.
HeadZone, which is kind of binaurally representing or recreating speakers. So, for example, if you have a sound coming from that speaker, and a certain sound, you have two different ear signals, which make you localize that sound from that speaker. And if you pan it over to that side, those ear signals change and make you localize sounds wherever you hear them from. And what that system does, it calculates those two ear signals so that you virtually mix into speakers. So you're wearing headphones and it has a little head tracker. So that when you move your head, the speakers stay stable in front of you and that they don't move with you. So that's probably the only system I've heard which kind of works and they use in broadcast as well. When you sit in small band and you don't have time to, or you don't have space to monitor and surround, then buy one of these Wi-Fi speakers and listen surround. I mean, but you have to adjust it because head-related transfer functions are different for everyone. I think did we listen to like the virtual barber show at the beginning of this semester? Like those binaural or the Matchbox going around? We didn't listen to
I
those?
don't think so.
So because basically we all have different head shapes, so the signals are different on our ears and onto localized sounds wherever they come from. So you have to adjust those systems exactly to your head shape and ear distance and all of that stuff. But I haven't tried it out. I want to get one for my office so I can constantly listen surround. But from what I've read and from what I've heard from people, they say it works really well. It translates really well to mix. I've heard the system once and I thought they'd turn on speakers.
Yeah.
There was a conference I was sitting there, and you turn on the speakers, huh?
Yeah.
Because it was a surround mix or like a live show or something like that. So it's, they get better and better, those like headphone surround things.
And so then at that point, then it's basically any decent set of headphones you could use. You just
Pretty
have
much,
to have
yeah.
noggin
I mean,
tracker.
you still like the better the headphones, the better, but like the better the signal. But basically, the calculations are done in that little unit. Really. You can get them for like on a consumer level for gaming and for like playback at home, where you have the 6 inputs and it's basically calculating it for you, and you listen to surround on headphones. You want to play surround games.
I've
Be
heard of
awesome.
something like this.
So,
Be wicked.
so there's
I like to play surround.
there's some really cool, interesting
Yeah.
stuff, things for surround. So.
That's okay.
Any other questions?
Drill beats.
And let's listen to you, Patrick.
Hey, didn't you want to stay in the driver's chair? Okay. You can get your chairs. You can drive. You can hear like Jules,
Oh, like
you
in
can
your
drive
different
like
movements?
there.
Yeah. So that'd be cool.
Except you can do the volume so loud that you just go back or something.
Okay. I did that.
And the last one, so what do you monitor if you have to, like in this case, they recorded stereo and surround at the same time. So where do you set your priority? Do you monitor in surround? Do you monitor in stereo, 2-channel stereo? Or do you constantly switch back and forth? How do you do that in a session? So that's
What do you do?
in this case, they because at that time we experimented a lot with surround, so I gave some feedback to those people who did those. Sometimes we had really bad surround recordings as well, and most people actually learned what it sounds like if you have a certain microphone system, and if you because all of the experience is in stereo, and if they then monitor and surround, then they make sure that signal's coming in well and they're relying on stereo. But depending on where you set your priorities, I mean, like listener-wise, most people listen to stereo at home. So if you would go to stereo listeners, have to get the best signal, and you probably constantly monitor your stereo signal. One set of recording, which we just imported, that was from one station where they basically gave us a file, we imported and we broadcasted. But in that case, they had like 0 dB ping noise on some of the speakers, like bursts. Because they didn't monitor or they didn't check the surround signals. And we also didn't have to check them. That was from a station where they didn't want us to touch, so we uploaded them, and all of a sudden the presenter ran into our little studio there, and there were like 0 dB full scale pink noise bursts on the rear speakers. But nobody complained, so I guess nobody was listening to surround. The stereo mix was fine.
It's awesome.
So I mean, it's always, that's a practical problem. Like, ideally, you would have 2 people, one monitoring the surround mix, the other the stereo mix. In a session, you can remix later, and you also have to make sure that it's stereo compatible sometimes. It's kind of what they first faced with mono compatibility, that you have to use an XY or TF to or be a little bit mono compatible. In 5.1, you want to be stereo compatible. In this case, we just record separately, that we don't have to make sure that the surround stuff is mono compatible. We basically just broadcast 2 different streams, one surround and one stereo.
Oh, good.
You won't make any compromises. Alright, you want to say anything before we play? Do you want them and me to fill out those forms, or do you just want to play and get some feedback?
Yeah, I just want feedback. I guess we were kind of limited what we could do with microphone placement, and we ended up having to boom the mics right over top of them because they had singers in the front of the stage, and then we had vocal mics at the front, but they didn't turn out so good.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Drew had the idea of putting reverb mics at the back of the stage really high up facing straight up. I don't know if that turned out really good. But
Is that a mix already, or is it just files? You see them out in main 1 and 2. So you already made a rock mix there?
I don't think so. Maybe. Anyways,
I'm not figuring out anything.
You got my text.
I think the timbre sounds.
Did you go to bed?
No, it's just coming in on 1 and 2 already.
I'm so used to it.
I'm so used to it.
It kicks it around at 3:30. Then I'm just.
Oh. Is this you singing, Jane? Who's this?
It's Jake's.
Is this Jake singing? Is it?
Totally.
Is it really?
Totally, man.
Concert hall?
So
Who's this? Where'd you record, Jameson?
Say, biggest concern was stereo image. I don't know if it turned out really good. So.
smaller speakers. So I'm just curious what it sounds like. Hit the mini A button there. Next, right on the right side of that blue knob, the volume knob, and then you have a mini A somewhere. Yeah.
This is just out of these now?
Yeah.
I like this better. You can hear the harpsichord more.
Nice. Any comments from the others?
That sounded good. Did a good job.
You guys can tear it apart.
Is that at Southminster?
Yeah.
I was at the church.
Yeah.
Who was that?
That was me. Remember, Jeff? It was my gig.
Well, other than the singing.
It was a string quartet.
Museus?
Yeah.
Right.
It was,
Any other comments?
That sounded really good.
Good.
that's it?
Yep.
You guys don't have to be polite.
Yeah, it sounds really. I like how directed it is.
Yeah.
That's
You still
good.
have the spatial information, which was fine.
For the size of the ensemble, you think
Yeah.
that's good?
Also, I mean, the stereo image isn't really stable. Like you can't localize everything, but like it's quite wide, which works as well because it's very close. So I think that works pretty well. In between, I thought that the harpsichord was in front of the strings sometimes. So in that case, I could just tiny little bit of reverb on the add a tiny little bit of reverb on the harpsichord. Just put that back. Or delay the microphone. Or just move that spot microphone back slightly. But I would have to listen again. Actually, on these speakers, it sounds really nice. On those back there, I had like a lot of build-ups in the lower frequencies, which I would have to EQ out. These would be my reference speakers, but on these they weren't there. So, and I don't trust those speakers. I trust these more. But I think it sounds really nice.
So you didn't think you thought the room mics worked all right, pointing up at the back of the stage?
Yeah, actually, do you have only the room mics? I'm just curious how much you use of them. I mean, I just listened to the mix now. I didn't listen.
Were those the ones that you had muted? Or those are the vocals?
Yeah, it was the vocal mics I needed.
Oh, we didn't get to hear you
Oh, I
sing, Jay.
think they're
Yeah,
brand
too
new.
bad. I do both parts. I do the lady part and the man part.
You can do that?
Oh yeah,
Really?
you betcha.
Talent.
Do you want me to turn it up? Or?
Yeah.
Well, no,
So this
I
is those
forgot.
back two mics or whatever, going straight up?
Am I moving the right thing?
Contratenor.
The blue and off.
This one.
Oh,
Oh,
it is that one.
oh, it is that one. Yeah, no, I'm moving the wrong thing. I just moved something wrong.
Oh, good one, Jeff.
I don't know what I did. I did ruin it.
Yeah, sounds like a decent room mic system.
It's weird though because when we listen to it on the studio monitors in Studio 2, the room mics had a lot of low frequencies, like a lot of boominess, but here they don't have any.
Probably also the system room in there, which adds a lot. I mean, you can always filter them out. There's nothing wrong with filtering your room mics if you say, hey, that's too much of that frequency, and then just
Okay.
take it out.
But we actually get like a really loud boom at certain points. It's weird, but.
Was that wind or anything like that? Or was it in the part we listen now? Or
It was in all the parts.
oh, okay.
I don't know what the difference is.
Actually, what happens if you fade in more of those room mics into your mix? Mix, so it would basically be, what are the room mics? These two?
Yeah.
So they should be over there as well, reverb, left and right. You can just pull those faders.
These guys?
Did you hear that boom there?
Mm-hmm. I think isn't that just a cello frequency, cello buildup or something like that? I thought it was in the mains.
It's cello, Dachstahl.
That's maybe one of the frequencies you can probably just filter out.
Just EQ it?
Yeah, just slightly. And then if you're doubting how much of the room you want to add, like what I normally do, I start somewhere and then I constantly cut it, and then I move it up and down, cut back in, and then you hear the difference way more than if it's a gradual change.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you go like, oh, because you do this, then you get used to it. Oh yeah, it's just harder to hear, but if you cut it in between and cut it down, oh, this is nice, or something like that. Maybe listening to the speaker now. But I think it's a really nice first recording. I wish I had recorded like that in my first year.
You what?
I wish I had recorded like that in my first year. We didn't get to be recorded all in our first year, so it's all just acoustics, electronics, math, physics, music theory, and all that stuff.
Math kills me.
One other thing is the vocal mics. In the other studio, they sounded better as room mics, but in here they might not. Mind if we just
Check it out.
get rid of the room mics and use the other one?
Yeah, you can also actually mute on here. Just use these to mute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where were those vocal mics? They were on the edges of the stage, or something like that?
Yeah, at the very front and
Yeah.
spaced a bit because the singers were pretty far apart. So this
Performance.
doesn't have the singers, but just as a room. I don't know.
Good use to do that. There were links. I'll send Super Jam the video that I'll say, so seriously, he probably doesn't have anybody. It's like, there's a Toro, I think just drop in the cloud. So you need a ghost-like figure over there. Is that Super Sound? The Super Sound. This is Speak of the Devil there. What's this?
Right, how's it going?
Oh.
They do sound a little more open, right? Like a little more.
Do you think one's better than the other?
I would have to listen somewhere in a better spot, but did anyone hear a difference between those two rooms? Which ones did you prefer?
I liked the first one.
You like the first one?
The first one?
This one just sounded almost like there was a hole in the middle. I'm not sitting in a good spot though, but that's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, this one gives a little more room information, which is probably truer and makes it a little bigger.
That one sounded more realistic to Southminster, like to what it actually sounds like in there. But I liked the first
Yeah,
one.
the other one's more
way
transparent
better.
in a way. Like it still adds space to it, but not muddying it up too much. I mean, that's what I heard back there. Like you have a lot of bass build-up in the back row anyway.
So the first one was better than. That's what you thought?
I think so. Like I said, I think this last one sounds more true to what that space sounds like realistically. But the other one sounded way better. I think.
Do you think realistic sounds better, or
Not in case of any of the rooms I've worked in here. So I mean, I like the I think I like the first one better as well because it keeps the sound really direct, which I like. I like really direct recordings. I should bring that again next week. We can mix around with, or in 2 weeks we'll mix around with that a little bit. And also if you're mixing in the, you've been working on this one as well, haven't you?
no? This is a different one.
Oh, this is with Drew.
Drew.
Oh yeah. If you're in there again, send me an email again. I can probably hop in and help you a little bit. I also listen on headphones once in a while. I don't know if you've done that yet,
Not yet.
because especially spatial information headphones, I always think, oh, this is good. Oh, this is bad, and just move around. But I think they both would work in the mix what I've heard so far.
And you don't think the mid stability is a problem?
I mean, it's jumping around a little bit, but it's a really nice sound color. It's a really nice timbre. It sounds really good.